Okay, Seeking Sister Wife Season 2, Episode 6. We got it just in under the wire since the next episode's airing in like an hour. Season 2, Episode 6, Seeking Sister Wives, The Waiting Game.
Or All About Science.
Or called Waiting for Something to Happen. So the Snowdens, there's no sex, but she moved cross-country with them, no sex. They decide that she needs to have a 21-day detox diet, so their pHs aren't off.
Next week, they announce that they're necromancers. Because science.
This is just so weird. This is so weird. He banged that chick on their first date.
Sorry, if you're on TV, I don't know, maybe you should look into your pseudoscience.
I don't know. All I know is this to me just feels like a long ploy to drag this out the whole season. I don't know what the deal is.
She's just really dumb.
Well, I think it's a control thing. I think it's a way of kind of like proving that Ashley's really in charge of this family. I don't know.
Because we know last time,
I know.
Gave her the poke on night one.
This whole thing is just so weird. As somebody said, is he not washing between women? Like what, like you don't...
Didn't sound that way.
I don't know. Anyway, I don't even want to deal with them. The McGee's, Brandy comes, and the daughter, and they have the most awkward introduction ever. And then this really bothered me. When they're like, where's your luggage? Is it still out in the car? And I'm like, you just left? Like, who just gets out of a car with a driver and just walks away? Like, I get it's TV.
She's rich.
I don't know. This whole thing was weird. That really bothered me.
He's just so handsome.
Oh my gosh, if that's what I have to choose from, if you die, I'm stuffing you and sticking you in the corner like some Weekend at Bernie's crap.
Like I said, next week, necromancy.
No. Anyway, the Winders, he's like, there's a lot of fish in the sea, but a lot of those fish are weird. And I'm like, if that's not the fish calling the fish weird, like this is... And
there's all sorts of jokes with that one.
I don't even know what his deal is because it's like the one I can tell you, wife number one is not on board with this. This like let's grab wives every turn. You can tell she wants to be on board and she's trying to say the minimum, but she's never speaking in the interviews about this. She's not. They have the second wife talking with her mom about her mom's so happy, and I'm like, I don't know, I guess if you just think God's taking care of it, then you just don't have to worry about the fact that, like, this was my example. This is a terrible example, but this is still my example, which is we have rescue dogs. When we get a new dog, we don't just immediately grab another dog and grab another dog and grab another dog and grab another dog. We couldn't maintain the safety of the house. I'm going to go on a limb and say that adding wives is at least as complicated as adding dogs. I know it's a terrible analogy.
The dogs are smarter.
Well... than them. Man, it's a mess. And then the Eldridges, this whole thing with Jennifer.
Who are the Eldridges?
They're the last family. They're the old guy and the sisters, I guess.
Oh, yeah, and Busty McGee.
And no, I don't have any problem with Jennifer. She doesn't seem like a bad person, but she doesn't seem like she would be a good fit for their lifestyle because it's like...
She smokes, and she's a bartender. And aren't they Mormon?
I don't know, and this is not to say that she's bad. It's just I don't really see where they're not like, well, she seems like a nice gal, but doesn't fit. I kind of feel like they're just like whatever works. And she's sending off this heavy-duty vibe of like something's not adding up. Like my guess, total guess, I don't have any proof, was something like someone called and said, if you do this, we're cutting you off, or I don't know. And so she like got out of town, but it's like, even if like her explanation wasn't really clear. Like she can say, I can't talk about it right now. I'll explain later. Or I can't say anything in front of the cameras. They've asked me not to say anything. Or I'll talk to you next week. But we still haven't heard why she bailed up the first time. Well, now they're like, well, she's coming to visit. And I'm like, oh, maybe it's serious. And I'm like, and we're going to pick a date in the future. And I was like, oh, that doesn't sound quite as thing. And they already show that I guess she doesn't show up. I don't know if that's the case. We'll find out next week. But there you go. So this whole season to me is like watching a train wreck about to happen. But it's like, you're like, oh man, it's such a train wreck. And then you're like, Okay, it's really going to be a train wreck someday.
Because the train wreck started before any episode ever aired.
Yeah, but we haven't seen any fireworks. Like the Snowdens.
Because everybody's kind of dull.
Well, here's the thing. I was definitely counting the Snowdens to get it in episode 1, and then the whole literally, and then the whole rest of the season, the part we actually want to see, which is like the two wives.
We don't. Heads. Oh, okay. I was like, I don't really want to see that.
No. Seeing the wives, like the fallout of like what it actually looks like when they get a second wife. But anyway, there you go. We'll see you guys soon.